everyone, and welcome back to Sunday Reads with Renee. My name is Renee, and today I'm doing a double book review of Wise Gals by Nathalia Holt and The Sisterhood by Liza Mundy. And these are two books that deal with the women in the CIA, the ones who helped build the CIA, contributed to it, and really worked hard to create a good CIA for the United States of America. And I wanted to do this double book review because both of them are similar in their own way, but also vastly different. So I felt it would be a good book review to do. And before I begin, I just want to let everyone know I will be revealing plot details, so therefore spoilers are ahead. And I also want to thank everyone who has subscribed to my channel thus far, as well as liked, commented, shared, subscribed, watched my videos, click the notification bell. I truly appreciate it as it helps my channel to grow. The first one is Wise Gals by Nathalia Holt, which was published in 2022. And this is a nonfiction work that discusses the women of the CIA who really helped build it, and only focuses on 5 women who were very big on the primary building of the entire CIA from its inception to up the Cold War. And what I found interesting about this book was not only it being very well written work with meticulous research, but these 5 women were very influential in so many different ways, and they operated in many places, including Paris and Baghdad. And the most interesting woman I found of the 5 was Elizabeth Sudmeyer. And Elizabeth Sudmeyer was someone who worked in intelligence in the Middle East to really collect a lot of interesting intelligence on Soviet Union weaponry. And she was held in high esteem by her peers and supervisors, especially her supervisors. And that was a very interesting part because a lot of the book also highlights the gender discrimination and misogyny that affected a lot of these women who were just as good, even better than their male counterparts. And they had a lot of issues with the gender pay gap. They were called the quote unquote petticoat panel. So there was a little bit of that misogyny and gender discrimination there, as well as the gender pay gap. So despite the fact that these women were intelligent and just as good as their male counterparts, some of them even better, there was all those struggles as well within building the modern CIA that we know today. And I thought it was very interesting that we have these 5 women that were the huge focus on it, everything from espionage, intelligence, going to dangerous places in order to gather this intelligence and work really hard. So it's a very detailed, well-written book that I thought was very good. It was interesting, the title Wise Gals for this, but I thought it was very good and a good, clever take on the building of the CIA and the espionage that took place. So I do recommend Holt's book because I think it's a very well-written look at these 5 pioneering women. But I especially loved Elizabeth Sudmeyer because I thought she was the most interesting one, at least to me. The next one is The Sisterhood by Liza Mundy, which was published in 2023. It's a nonfiction work that actually does a more condensed overview of the secret history of the woman in the CIA from the time of its inception up until the modern era. And what I found most interesting about this work is how similar it is to Wise Gals in a lot of ways. It focuses on the secret history of the woman who helped build the modern CIA from the time of its inception to the modern era. I thought it was very well written, meticulous work that had a lot of good research to it. And it was a more condensed version, unlike Wise Gals. In Wise Gals, you had a focus on just 5 pioneering women at the start of the founding of the CIA. But here we have in Monday's book a little bit more of a condensed overview from the beginning to the modern era of the CIA and how they also dealt with similar things in Wise Gals, which was gender discrimination, misogyny, being undervalued and underpaid. So there is a gender pay gap in that regard, where they were just as good, even sometimes a little better than their male counterparts. The main difference between the Sisterhood and Wise Gals is that the Sisterhood focuses more on the fact that we have all these women coming from the beginning to the modern era of the CIA and how they helped shape it and continue to do so even today. So you get a lot more of a condensed, broader view of it, especially in the aftermath of 9/11. And among these women are Lisa Harper, who came out of retirement to help go on the hunt for Osama bin Laden, as well as Marley Chambers, who used a lot of tracking techniques to try and locate Nigerian schoolgirls who'd been abducted by the Boko Haram. So here you're going to find a lot more of a broader, condensed view of different types of women who were involved in the CIA even today, ones who contributed just as much, even more so than others in entire history. And I think it was fascinating to learn more about these different types of women than just the five pioneering women of the CIA and Wise Gals. Nonetheless, I think both these books are very good and they're very different in their own ways. In the terms of being very good, they're both very well written, they're highly well researched, there's a lot of meticulous research that goes to it, and a lot of it comes from the diaries, memos, interviews, recently declassified information that we can now write about and discuss. So I think this is all very good for both books. At the same time, they are both very different, so you can find whichever one you like best. In the terms of Wise Gals, it focuses more on the five pioneering women in the CIA at its founding and inception. And then we also have the Sisterhood, which is a more broader, condensed view of different types of women from the beginning to the modern era who contributed and influenced and took part in really building and shaping the CIA and created a whole influence of other women that they can inspire. And it reminded me a little bit of America's Woman by Gail Collins, which I've just recently read, which is a more broader, condensed view of different types of women who contributed to America in some way, shape, and form for the last 400 plus years. So there's a lot you can do with both of these books, Wise Gals and The Sisterhood, but I overall think both of them are very good, and I invite everyone to do their own research for it. And if you're curious more about women's history, as well as into the CIA and the contributions women made to that, then I recommend both of these books. This concludes the double book review today of Wise Gals and The Sisterhood, and I hope you pick up these books. Now tell me what you think. Do you agree with me, not agree with me? Have you read these books? Have you read one or the other? Do you find it interesting about women's history in terms of the CIA? What do you think overall? Are there other books similar to this that you'd like to discuss or have read? Please put them in the comments below. As always, I welcome all discussions. Before I conclude, I do apologize. I have a little bit of a stuffy nose here. It's the beginning of spring, so the allergies are coming out, and that's why there's a little bit of choppiness and some grogginess in the voice a little bit. But I thank you so much for tuning in, of course. I really appreciate everyone who comes to this channel to really enjoy a lot of the content that I do, whether it's the Sunday reads, Food Fridays, the random videos on Wednesdays, and I truly appreciate it. And speaking of the Sunday reads videos, I will be returning next Sunday with a total overview of my winter reads of 2026. I'm very excited to bring all of that to you, and I'll also bring an update a little bit later today of some of the books I've read so far. I'm down to almost 30 of them. I'm getting very, very close, which I'm happy about. And I look forward to bringing all the entire reviews on March 29th, next Sunday. So I'm very excited about that. And I thank you so much again for tuning in. And I'll also return in April with various different topics. I'm going to keep a double book review twice a month as always, but I'm going to do some different topics now that we are moving out of March with Women's History Month, as well as Irish History Month, and of course, Valentine's Day and such. But I thank you so much again for tuning in. I look forward to bringing so many different vast topics to you as the time goes on. And I thank you for tuning in. But for now, please be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell. I'll see you next time. Bye.